He took interrogation. They interrogated the IPOA and the IG also on the same matter. And I want to read the minister's response and give a little bit also the highlight arising from the members' interrogation of the IG and IPOA to include the latest update status report from IPOA. Honorable Speaker, I respond as follows. The Member of Parliament, this is the response from the Minister, the Member of Parliament for Nyando constituency, Jared Okello, had sought the said statement, and I respond as follows. We are deeply concerned by the circumstances surrounding the death of Mr. Albert Ojwang while in police custody at Central Police Station. Indeed, the loss of life in custody raises serious questions on procedural conduct, oversight, and the protection of the constitutional rights by the National Police Service. According to the information made public by Inspector General of Police, Mr. Douglas Kanja, the late Mr. Ojwang was arrested following a complaint launched by Mr. Elliot Lagat, the DIG of KPS, in relation to remarks made by Ojwang on his social media account, Pixel account to be specific. X account goes by that name. Despite the nature of allegation, it is important to emphasize that all arrest persons are entitled to the right enshrined under Article 49 of our Constitution. This including the right to be informed promptly of the reason for arrest, access to legal counsel, and to be brought before the court of law within the 24 days. In light of the above, the decision to place Mr. Ojwang in solitary cell and whether it was consistent with the legal and procedural provision remain a matter under active investigation. The preliminary autopsy has provided initial insight into the cause of his tragic death. However, the committee awaits the conclusion of IPOA to determine any lapses, misconduct, and violation of Mr. Ojwang's right while in custody. I'll reiterate our commitment to pushing for transparency, accountability, and protection of all Kenyans from abuse while in custody of state. In regards to the second question, Honorable Speaker, in regards to the transfer of Mr. Ojwang from Homa Bay to Nairobi by the DCI was informed that the transfer was necessitated by the nature of alleged offense, which was cybercrime. We understand that such offenses may have an element that transcend geographical boundaries, but it is imperative that such transfers must still comply with the principle of lawful procedure. Under the Criminal Conduct Code, Cap 75, matters relating to the jurisdiction is determined by the place the offense is alleged to have occurred or where its consequences are felt. Again, in our understanding, in cases where it is uncertain in which jurisdiction the offense occurred, the law permits proceedings to be instituted in any such jurisdiction. However, even in such cases, the rights of accused persons be strictly upheld as they are entitled to humane and lawful condition of detention. Therefore, the committee underscores the importance of ensuring that operational decisions such as transfer of accused do not override constitutional protection. The legality of a Ojwang transfer and whether it met both procedural and human rights standards remain a critical component of ongoing investigation. On the third question, Honorable Speaker, the case is already under active investigation by IPOA and other relevant agencies. From public statements, we are also informed that the authority has made notable progress, including the recording of statements from several police officers, among them the OCS, Central Police Station, and junior officers who were on duty at the time of the incidents. And the post-mortem examination has already been conducted, and the preliminary finding revealed blunt force injuries to the head, bleeding in the brain, soft tissue injuries on various parts of the body, and sign of compression on the neck. The National Police Service, through the IG, has pledged full cooperation with IPOA. Similarly, my ministry is available to provide any necessary support to facilitate speedy and conclusive determination of this matter. Being a matter of significant public interest and national concern, we are hopeful that the process will be expeditious, impartial, and transparent, especially in light of the commitment made by the relevant authorities. And the last part, Honorable Speaker, the Inspector General of Police has interdicted 6 officers pending outcome of ongoing investigation. And these officers include Officer Commanding Central Police Station, Samson Talam, Duty Officer Samuel Nganga, Corporal Charles Muruki, and Police Constable Debian Lusweti, and Peter Kimani, and Evelyn Kanyiri. We are of the view that this step is necessary and appropriate measures to ensure accountability, to preserve the integrity of the investigation, the process the same, and will also serve an important reminder that misconduct and negligence within the National Police Service will not tolerate. And Honorable Speaker, maybe it's also worth to add to this that, of course, also the DIG KPS had stepped aside the public domain. Finally, Honorable Speaker, I wish to give the highest assurance and commitment that we shall pursue this matter to its conclusive end for justice to Mr. Albert Ojwang and for the respect of law, rule of law in this country. And I submit, Honorable Speaker, signed by Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, the Secretary Cabinet for Interior and National Administration.
Obara. Yes.
I will kindly, because this was a little bit, a lot has taken place, to give a bit summary from the IPOA, the latest, actually, as today. Honorable Speaker, in summary, as of today, or actually this letter was signed yesterday when I was coming into the House, and I have the update report. And Honorable Speaker, there's some noise here from the member. Soy.
Order, Honorable DK.
This guy is from. So, Honorable Speaker, I have a letter, the status update report from Ahmed Isaac Hassan, the chair of IPOA, outlining that so far they have done 8 arrests. They have arrested James Mukwana, and is in Milimani Law Court, and is detained for 21 days at Capitol Hill Police Station. I'm saying James Mukwana. Sorry? Corporal. And the ruling to be delivered on the June the 20th. Next mission will be on the June 20th. It's good to know that. The second is Samson Talam, the OCS, also in Milimani Law Court, and they're detained for 21 days. Pending investigation, and the ruling also to be delivered on the June 18th. The other one is, of course, also the deputy OCS, which is known as Nganga, and Kimani, which was also a duty officer. Also among the rest, Honorable Speaker, is 3 civilians. And these civilians are people who are alleged actually to have even committed the heinous act. Those are the convicts who are in the cells. And these are Gin Amunitwa, Collins Karani, Kelvin Mutisia Mutava, and Brian Mwaniki Njue. And they are all detained for 21 days at Mudagari and Kileleshwa Police Station, and they're detained for 14 days. Among the 8, Honorable Speaker, is also one person who is the technician who is alleged to have interfered with the CCTV. And he has been also arrested. And I think, Honorable Speaker, because the report, of course, is very detailed, and I'll also mention the number of officers who have been interdicted, and majority of them also are those who have been arrested. Honorable Speaker,
yes, sir.
I don't want to go into the chronology of event, but it's also good just to note that we, in the report that I will table in the House, give more details on the chronology of event, starting from when the DIG made the complaint, both to EACC and DCI, as a result of the alleged false accusation by the deceased on his Pixen X account. So, Honorable Speaker, and we had also, of course, interrogated the IG and IPOA, and as a committee, and the report is here, but the majority are more similar to what had already the CS had given brief, and what even IPOA had reported. And Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Obara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me appreciate that little effort has been made and there is progress on the case. But Mr. Speaker, on the specific questions that were asked, I'm yet to be satisfied. Mr. Speaker, what was asked was why, the first one was why was Albert transferred from Homa Bay to Nairobi? Was this legal? Mr. Speaker, this has not been clearly answered. In line with Article 49 of our Constitution, it's required that the arrested person be held near the place of arrest unless there are exceptional circumstances, and none were disclosed. The second one that I'm not satisfied with was what was asked was what specific online post led to his arrest. Mr. Speaker, up to this point, we do not know the specific online post. The other one was, the question was Albert's detention documented at the Central Police Station? Mr. Speaker, the response clearly should have stated that it was not. At least acknowledge that there were gaps in the manner in which his case was handled. They always say that the truth will set us free. So I would appreciate if the minister in charge or the cabinet secretary in charge acknowledge some of the shortfalls or the shortcomings on the manner in which the case was handled. And when you say the truth, even the people concerned, as much as they have lost their relative, will be satisfied that it was the investigation was transparent and the truth has been unveiled. And this has not been the case. And finally, Mr. Speaker, on the injuries that we're asked, can the ministry explain the visible injuries, including the bruises and the swellings, reported by the family and observers? The ministry or the minister only refers to the existence of postmortem without addressing the injury findings. Mr. Speaker, I would be happy if this matter is handled exhaustively. I am not fully satisfied, and this is the message. Mr. Speaker, this is something that has painted Kenya in a bad light. Mr. Speaker, yes, we make mistakes, but when you acknowledge, then we can get over some of these things and even now start talking about the reforms on what we should do as a country. I'm not looking at an individual, I'm looking at the image of the country. Mr. Speaker, what we saw yesterday, immediately after this Mr. Ojwang's case, what we saw in the streets yesterday, somebody brazenly shooting at a human being, Mr. Speaker. It means that it has not sunk. Even what we've been talking about and the country's outcry has not been received well by the police force. Because if that was done, Mr. Speaker, they would not have done what we saw, or instructions given out to them on how to handle demonstrators would have been different. That police officer has painted us in a bad light, and action, I believe, has been taken and he has been arrested. But for Ojwang, let us go the full haul, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, Mukunji. Tongoyo, you can take notes.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I also want to say the statement is quite insufficient. Honorable Speaker, from a far look, this looks like there's a lot of conspiracy around that case. And Honorable Speaker, I am appealing to the committee to go beyond IPOA statement. There is a need, Honorable Speaker, for this National Assembly to go beyond the issue of getting a report from IPOA and actually form a commission of inquiry to know exactly what transpired, that is supposed to be independent, that involves also everybody that is being mentioned. Honorable Speaker, there has been mentioned two gentlemen that come from my constituency. And Honorable Speaker, those young gentlemen who are actually cousins had been arrested because of a road issue, a traffic matter. They were released. And then when they went for their vehicle, Honorable Speaker, they were rearrested and taken in custody, and they are being forced to write statement. Honorable Speaker, I beg for this National Assembly to take the issue of police misuse and misconduct very seriously. Let us try as much as possible to correct the image so that, Honorable Speaker, as my sister has said, we have to ensure the credibility of our nation is beyond reproach.
Thank you. Otienda Molo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the response as read is grossly inadequate. But it is because of our system that we cannot expect our own colleague to give us sufficient answers, because he can only rely on answers that has been given to him. Mr. Speaker, the issue of Ojwang demonstrates monumental impunity and disregard to the Constitution and the law, to an extent that, as seen together with what happened yesterday, it demonstrates total anarchy and a danger of sliding to be a banana republic if we are not already there. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I would suggest that to ask our colleague to bring better answers is to give him a task beyond him, because he will not get better answers. He is relying on the same police who told us that this was an issue of suicide. There is no way they can give us any better answers. Mr. Speaker, I would suggest that if ever there was a case where we should consider constituting an ad hoc committee, because Ojwang's death demonstrates what happens every day, except it does not come to the limelight. I would suggest that, Mr. Speaker, you consider constituting an ad hoc committee to look into what actually happened, and also to look into what happens to other persons in similar circumstances, so that the police can be brought to order within the Constitution and the law. Mr. Speaker, there are so many gaps in that responses. Number one, for starters, we have been failed by IPOA. IPOA cannot, as the person investigating police conduct, attend a press conference where the police are explaining their own conduct. You cannot do that. IPOA cannot come and tell us that they have arrested people and they are prosecuting people for murder when the central suspect has not written a statement to date. How do you determine then who should be taken to court if you've not interviewed Eliud Lagat up to now? IPOA has failed us, and we must call them to order. The other failure, Mr. Speaker, is in response to what now happened, the public outcry. I read the statement of 16th June 2025 by the DIG Eliud Lagat, where he says he has voluntarily stepped aside. Mr. Speaker, there is nothing like stepping aside in law. I invite, Mr. Speaker, that we look at the National Police Service Act, we look at Section 17, we look at Section 95A. Under Section 17, the President can remove the DIG, can retire the DIG, or can redeploy the DIG. None of those can be done by the DIG themselves. Under Section 95A, the disciplinary process can only be done by a disciplinary committee of the National Police Service Commission. You cannot discipline yourself by saying you've stepped aside. What does that mean in law? Mr. Speaker, I want to suggest that this whole issue is a charade. If you look back to the questions that were asked, before you are arrested, you are supposed to be told why you are being arrested. Under Article 49. This was not an arrest. This was an abduction. And to use the word arrest, as has been used by chairman, is wrong. And if it was an arrest, you are supposed to be taken to the nearest police station. Why would you be taken 600 kilometers? And when you are taken to the station, then the OB is not recorded. At what point then are you told of the reason for your arrest? And then you are put in situations where you are clearly have been set up to be killed. Mr. Speaker, I think we owe it to this country, given what happened to Ojwang, given what happened to those who are demonstrating at what happened to Ojwang, to the extent that the same police are now escorting goons, we are in danger of sliding to a total banana republic. And if the executive cannot bring us back on course, it behoves this House to do so. Mr. Speaker, I suggest we establish an ad hoc committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Tongoyo. Honorable members, from what I have heard and from what the chair of the committee read to us, first, Honorable Otieno Amolo, you can only set up a committee through a motion. There's no motion before me. But more importantly, I direct that the Minister for Internal Security appears before this House on Wednesday afternoon so that those with questions, and the questions so far raised by Obara, Otieno Amolo, and Mukunji be availed to him via Hansard so that he can be able to be interrogated by the House on matters touching on the death of Albert Ojwang, taking into account the ongoing court case and the sub judice rule, so that we can have this House lend its strong voice on matters that we disapprove of, on the conduct of officers who are supposed to protect wananchi. So, Majority Leader Owen Baya, Wednesday at 3:30, the Minister for Internal Security to appear before this House is so directed. Yes, Tongoyo?
Honorable Speaker, I think on that one, I don't want to... Just one question, Honorable Speaker, that has come out clearly. As much as we all regret as a country, it was really a very unfortunate event, even to include what happened yesterday. Of course, we saw in the videos going around of a police officer shooting an armed, innocent Kenyan who was walking, doing his assault, which even inquired. We are lucky he's still recuperating in the hospital, although they say he was used a rubber bullet. Honorable Speaker, I think it's just good to appreciate that IPOA had really done a good job, because in speed 5 days, okay, it's me talking.
Order.
It's me talking. Honorable Speaker, as much as we invite the IG, the Minister, you know what we wanted from the Internal Affairs Unit is full cooperation. And when we're interrogating, Honorable Speaker, IPOA themselves confirmed to us that the IG and his team were really in full cooperation.
Honorable Tongoyo.
Yes.
You can advise the minister to come with IPOA alongside him.
Yes. Better that way.
If he wishes to do so.
Okay.
Because under our structure of government, he gives policy direction.